So I'm going to talk about the more journalism and social media change, the more journalists are needed podcast. So the podcast talks about accuracy, verification, and fairness are at the forefront of what we do as journalists, and that can never be forgotten. So I think in a time where social media has seemed to take over, as a journalist, I need to remember to carry accuracy and fairness in my posts on social media instead of falling into the trap of posting, just to gain followers or being the first to break news. Using whatever tactic that might be. Like I could use clickbait potentially. Like I need to stay away from that and keep the right values and ethics in mind. So the podcast speaks about how we should find ways to reach new audiences. This ties directly into our chapter of using SMART goals and key performance indicators. So we need to use SMART goals to find new audiences and use KPIs that determine if we are reaching new audiences. So our chapter is all about data collection, and technology that allows us as content creators to track data can be used to determine if we are reaching new audiences. So, how can we reach new audiences? What to post, where to post it, when to post it, and if what we're doing is working can all be tracked by using KPIs and new technology that tracks data. So she also talks about the lady in the podcast, about writing short stories and how that's what gets people to read the news nowadays. So I think social media has shifted journalism this way. It's been proven through data and analytics that people interact with stories that are shorter and catch the eye on social media, as well as interactive stories that they can click on, such as polls. So chapter 7, speaks about VR, and this podcast makes me think of ways we can deliver news via virtual reality because, things are changing. So as crazy as it may seem, and yeah, maybe people don't think of getting news when they use virtual reality, but what if we could deliver engaging news through virtual reality? What if people use virtual reality more, than they are on their phone someday? That would mean that we would use social media in virtual reality, which means that us as journalists must find ways to deliver news in ways that people with VR, will read and engage with. So, this podcast also talks about how journalists need to be careful about our digital footprint, something I think about all the time. I do want employers to be able to look at everything I've ever done or written on social media and be happy with it. Our reading talks about how digital footprint is used by companies to target social media users in order to get them to do something. But now I'm thinking about digital footprint as a journalist and what that means for my public image and the company I work for. So, and then, to sum up the podcast, it talks about how we need to be aware of who is saying what. We need to look deeply into the source. Tying this into our reading, it's so important for us not to get trapped with fake news and sites trying to collect data. If we are aware of who's posting the content and if they're a trustworthy, reliable source, these are things we need to look into. Then jump into Schoolhouse Rock, conjunction, junction, and, but, and, or are conjunctions, and is used as an additive like this and that, but is used like not this but that, and or is used when you have a choice, this or that. So you want phrases and clauses that balance conjunctions help you with complex sentences as well. And then Schoolhouse Rock grammar rock the tale of Mr. Morton. We have the subject and the predicate. The predicate tells us what the subject must do or what the subject does. The subject is a noun, which is a person, place, or thing, which is who or what the sentence is about, and the predicate is the word that the action verb. Thank you.